I stopped attending family events because my sister-in-law keeps flirting with my husband. Everyone says I'm paranoid. I've been married to Kevin for 3 years, and for most of that time, I told myself I was overreacting. His younger sister Vanessa is 26, single, and has always been physically affectionate with him in ways that made my skin crawl. At family dinners, she'd touch his arm constantly while laughing at his jokes. She'd sit on his lap during game nights and say it was fine because they're siblings. She'd lean her head on his shoulder during movies and play with his hair absent-mindedly. Once, at Easter brunch, she actually said out loud to the whole table, "I just need to find a man exactly like Kevin. Why are all the good ones already taken?" while looking directly at me. Kevin's mom laughed. His dad smiled. His brother nodded in agreement. And I sat there feeling crazy because apparently this was all completely normal sibling behavior that I just didn't understand because I'm an only child. Everything changed at Kevin's birthday party last month. I'd spent 3 weeks planning it, inviting his friends and family, ordering his favorite cake, decorating our backyard with string lights. The party was going great until I walked into the kitchen and saw Vanessa feeding Kevin cake with her fingers, not just handing him a piece, actually holding it to his mouth while he took a bite. Then she wiped frosting off his bottom lip with her thumb, slowly, while maintaining eye contact. I stood there frozen with a stack of dirty plates in my hands. When they finally noticed me, Vanessa just smiled and said, "Your husband has the sweetest tooth." An hour later, I found them alone in the kitchen again. She was standing between his legs while he sat on the counter, and she was adjusting his collar, smoothing down his shirt, her face maybe 6 inches from his. Her hands lingered on his chest. When I cleared my throat, Kevin jumped down looking guilty, but Vanessa just rolled her eyes like I was interrupting something important. That night, after everyone left, I told Kevin we needed to talk about his sister. He immediately got defensive, saying I was reading into things that weren't there. "That's just how Vanessa is," he said. "Like that explained everything. She's affectionate. It doesn't mean anything. You're making this weird when it's not weird." I asked him point blank if he thought it was normal for a grown woman to sit on her brother's lap, to feed him cake with her fingers, to touch him constantly. He said yes, absolutely, and that I was being jealous of his sister, which was honestly insane. I told him I wouldn't be attending family events anymore until something changed. He laughed at first, thinking I was bluffing. When I didn't show up to his mom's birthday dinner the following week, his entire family lost their minds. His mother called me crying, saying I was tearing the family apart over nothing. His brother and his wife sent me a group text saying I was making Vanessa feel unwelcome and uncomfortable in her own family, and that my jealousy was toxic. Kevin started going to family events alone, and every time he came home, I'd see texts from Vanessa, inside jokes, memories I wasn't part of, photos from gatherings I'd skipped. Then one night, I was looking for a photo on Kevin's phone and found an entire album I'd never seen before. Beach photos from last summer. Vanessa in a bikini, posing with Kevin, her arms around his waist, his arm around her shoulders. They'd gone on a beach trip without me. When I asked Kevin about it, he said it was a last-minute sibling thing and he didn't think to invite me because I'd been working so much. But I'd never even heard about the trip. Not before, not during, not after. He deliberately kept it from me. That's when I realized this wasn't just awkward sibling closeness. This was something else entirely, and everyone in his family was acting like I was the problem for noticing it. I gave Kevin an ultimatum last week. Either we go to couples therapy or I'm filing for divorce. He initially refused, saying therapy was for couples with real problems, not for wives with irrational jealousy issues. I started looking at apartments. That changed his mind fast. Our first therapy session was yesterday, and I laid everything out for the therapist. The touching, the lap sitting, the secret beach trip, the birthday party incident. I expected the therapist to tell me I was overreacting. Instead, she looked at Kevin and said, "Your sister's behavior toward you is inappropriate and crosses emotional boundaries that shouldn't exist between adult siblings. This dynamic is concerning." She used the term emotional incest, and Kevin's face went completely white. The therapist explained that families can normalize unhealthy attachments, and that Vanessa's behavior toward Kevin showed signs of romantic jealousy and possessiveness, not typical sibling affection. Kevin set boundaries with Vanessa last night over the phone, telling her no more physical contact beyond quick hugs, no more excluding me from family activities, and no more treating him like a surrogate boyfriend. She screamed at him for 20 minutes, called me a manipulative witch, and said I'd stolen her best friend. At yesterday's family dinner, Vanessa had a complete meltdown in front of everyone, crying that I'd ruined her relationship with Kevin. Kevin's mother tried to comfort her and lecture Kevin about abandoning his sister, but then his father spoke up for the first time in 3 years. He said he'd always thought Vanessa's attachment to Kevin was strange and that maybe therapy would help her. Kevin's going low contact with family until they respect our marriage, and Vanessa's starting therapy next month.